All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dids in the Dugout. Me and Hitch decided we're going to do a weekend reaction. So we're going to do this. The High Point game just ended about 8 minutes ago, so we're going to hop on, talk about the weekend that was, what I think was a really good weekend for the Rebels all in all, despite what happened Friday, which we're going to dive into here in just a little bit. But if y'all end up liking this, want more of it, let us know. Like the video, drop a comment, something like that. And if we get enough of those, maybe we end up doing these every weekend and we hop on here and react to you every Saturday or Sunday whenever the series ends up ending throughout the year. So, but first and foremost, Hitch, appreciate you being here with me, buddy. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Doing great. Doing really well after that offensive showing. So, man,
that
good.
Was nice. Yeah. So, look, the first thing we're going to talk about here with this weekend reaction, the talk of the entire Ole Miss baseball world leading into this weekend was the news about Luke Hill and the leaked screenshots or whatever the hell you want to call it. I voiced my opinion on this on Twitter when it came out. It was not a very popular opinion. That's fine. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm packed full of unpopular opinions. I promise you, it's not going to be the last one that I put out there. Luke came out, said he was hacked. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Quite frankly, I don't care if he was or he wasn't. Whether they're real, not real, Hitch, it doesn't matter to me. We've had Luke on this show. Got to talk to him, during that interview, conversed with him a couple times outside of the show. And I've watched several interviews with him on other people's shows as well. I think I've got a pretty good grasp of the kind of guy Luke is. And he's very fiery, very competitive, obviously a very good baseball player. He wouldn't be in Oxford to begin with. And, if you believe that he said the things that he said, then that's fine. But I still don't know where you would have a problem with what he said to begin with, right? I mean, he's one of those guys that's going to come out, he's going to play, and, if he's not getting his due, then, talk about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's either one of a couple things. Either, he got hacked and all of the stuff that was posted or the text message he sent, he never sent. Like you said, I don't care if that's true or not. He was aggravated, right? That something that he was promised or guaranteed he didn't get, and he sent a message. And my first thought was, man, I have to be missing something. There has to be more than this, than just him sending a message with somebody saying, come back to ASU, him saying, I wish,
yeah.
And I haven't been paid. Right? And I was like, man, that's a stretch to get upset about. But at the same time, if I were Luke Hill, I would have been upset about that.
Yeah.
And it probably wouldn't have been a text message. Like I said, I would have tweeted at Bianco, Keith Carter, Mayor Robin Tannehill if I thought it would have gotten me what I wanted, right? Like, he had every right to be upset. I don't
what you were owed.
People are mad at
it's
him.
not even what you wanted, it's what you're owed, right? I mean,
right,
imagine going to work and not getting a paycheck at the end of the month. If if you're on a monthly scale or whatever, everybody'd be pissed about that. Have no issues whatsoever with what Luke Hill did. I thought it spoke volumes as all this started coming out, seeing all of his teammates come and have his back too, though, right? You saw Andrew
and they
Fisher.
Should, and
yeah, absolutely they should. Cole Ketchum even, a lot of people retweet it. Cole Ketchum came out and put words to it as well about how he's one of the best teammates, hardest working teammates he's ever been around. Sonier, Quinn, all these guys, Furness. I mean, you basically the entire dugout back in Luke Hill here. I'll take the words of the people that are around Luke Hill day in and day out to tell me what kind of guy he is, what kind of teammate and ball player he is, as opposed to people on Twitter that get pissed off over seeing just a couple screenshot messages that really have no context whatsoever.
Right. And like you said, and you said it pretty well there, is I'll take the word of everybody that's around him every day over one instance of him possibly being aggravated and spouting off. Yeah. What is it? Don't judge lest you be judged. I mean, how many times every day I have a designated person in our fantasy baseball group to calm me down because I'm aggravated about something, right? You know, I mean, just get out of here with this. Just leave the kid alone, let him play, and pay him his money. Let's go.
Yeah, and look, this is a perfect opportunity to do this. Shout out Daniel Bunch. You're incredible at what you do. You keep Hitch grounded. You bring him up when he needs to come up. So I appreciate it, Daniel. You are an absolute godsend to this fantasy baseball chat. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you,
but yeah, Luke though ended up having a pretty good weekend though, right?
Sure did.
People love climbing on top of him and beating him down during that Friday night game. And let's go ahead and dive into that Friday night game. It was one that we thought we needed because we were really struggling going into this game. And Luke's leading off. He does go 0 for 5, but look, this is a team-wide problem we had going on leading into this stretch that ended up culminating into 4 straight losses. I thought Quinn pitched pretty good. The walks are obviously still a problem. You can't be walking 5 guys, but he also didn't get a lot of help from his defense either. You go back to that first inning, he's got a runner on first and second with one out, if I'm remembering it right. And it's a ground ball to Randall there, and he's a freshman. He's going to get better at this. Yeah, it is. If the runner keeps running and he gets to tag him in stride the way he was thinking that it was going to go, then it would have been a double play. Runner made a really
runner
good
makes
decision.
A great play. I mean, you don't hear that much, but I mean the runner did exactly what you're taught to do and backpedal, make the defender come towards you. And I mean, he did what he did, and that's where it kind of went south a little bit.
Yeah. The runner made a hell of a play, held up. Randall had to go tag him instead of the runner running into the tag. Threw the timing off a lot, obviously. He gets that out, tries getting it to first, even though it was too late. It was a throw that should have never been made. Again, something he will learn and get better at the more he plays. But it gets away, and, instead of the end of an inning, a run scores there. They score another run later on in the inning, and they get up 2-0. And all of a sudden, we're into the same Ole Miss baseball game that we had seen for the last 4 games up to this point. But watching JT Quinn pitch, I think you'll agree with me here, Hitch. He does have that SEC Friday night stuff, right? To where once he puts it together, everything comes together behind him, cuts down on walks, defense is good behind him. He's got the stuff to be a premier pitcher in this league, I think.
Yeah, I think it's in there. It's just hidden behind 5 walks, 2 wild pitches, things like that. But
that's fixable stuff on top of that, though.
Yes, it is. I think he made some really good pitches in some really tough situations. Also probably like to see him cut down on getting deep into counts. He threw 80 something pitches, through 3 1/3. You're not going to be a Friday night starter if you can't get out of the 3rd inning because you've thrown 100 pitches, so they just cut down on that stuff. But I agree with you. I mean, let me say this, he's going to have a high pitch count because he's a strikeout guy. He also struck out 6 batters. And as we saw, 6 pretty good hitters in this High Point lineup. Like we said, coming into this, they're seniors up and down the lineup, and they're going to be tough. And they really were Friday night, and he had his work cut out for him. But yeah, it's in there. It's going to take some sharpening, I believe.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off JT Quinn, you go and you see Riley Maddox enters the game, and if you look just at the straight box score, goes 3 2/3 for us, gives up 2 runs, but again, only 1 of them earned, right? So now we've only had 4 earned runs,
1 walk. One walk.
Exactly. 1 walk, only 1 strikeout, but he 8 innings for us. And I think that's a really big deal. Something that Riley can really do for us.
And also, I think he had 6 or 7 ground outs. And that's what he does, right? Like, he's a sinker ball guy. He's going to strike a few guys. Yeah. He's going to strike a few guys out. But when you look at his line and you see 3 2/3 innings, 7 ground outs, that's exactly what you want to see. So it's great.
Yeah, and that's why people think that he has the repertoire to project as a starter. I don't have it in front of me, Hitch. How many pitches did Maddox throw in those 3 2/3? Do you have that?
61.
Okay, see, I mean, that's not bad coming out of the bullpen to eat innings. You know you're burning the guy anyway for the weekend. I think that is incredibly big for this pen, and it's one of the many pieces that me and you are going to get into as the show goes on with this bullpen, because we talked about it leading into the year, this being a real weapon, and I think this weekend was a clear example of how good they could be. On top of that, we end up getting our first appearance from Sam Takuian.
My man.
Guy that we have talked about not only
him.
last year but this year, and he comes in and straight dominates. Just an absolutely perfect inning, no walks, no hits, 2 strikeouts. Kind of your quick impressions of Toucan Sam here in his season debut in 2024.
Yeah, and you know, that is what we lovingly call him. I hope he's okay with that. I just thought, as you said that, I thought, oh no, I hope he doesn't mind Toucan Sam. But
I'm sure it's not the first time he's heard it, surely.
Probably not. He when he came out and he pitched, he threw 15, 16 pitches and just looked like he was it was the middle of the year and we were in SEC play and he was dialed in. He looked great. The only other thing I will say about Sam is I thought was that David DeLucci had a great comparison of it if you're watching the broadcast, and I cannot unsee it now. Is Sam Takuian is Lance Lynn? Try to unsee that now.
That's right.
But not only because he looks that way, but it's because of the way he pitches. Right, he's a dog out there, man. He comes right at you. He throws hard, and just here's my best stuff. You better catch up to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a great comparison too. And I mean, you started texting as soon as that come out with DeLucci. Really good comparison. He's a real big guy on the mound, really throws it hard. I think he's going to be a big part of this bullpen the more work he gets. So it's good seeing him. And look, we won't spend an absolute ton of time on him, but I thought it was a good debut for Hudson Calhoun too there on Friday night, the freshman out of Tupelo. That seems to be a bit of a pipeline that Mike Bianco and the guys are starting to build there through Tupelo. You've got guys like Hunter Elliott, obviously, that's not pitching this year, but you got Mason Morris from Tupelo, now Hudson Calhoun, the freshman. He came in and looked pretty good, 1 inning, 1 walk, no strikeouts, but he got his 3 outs, got out of there without allowing a run. So good for Hudson there. Just want to give a quick shout out for him.
I think overall a good showing from the bullpen, right?
Yeah.
2 runs over the last 6 innings.
I mean, really you can say that with every game really this year. I mean, this bullpen is dynamic. We've talked about it ad nauseum, and we're not done yet because the Rebels had 2 more games to go. So kind of setting the stage, all of Rebel Nation, I like to call them the vocal minority. We're about as pissed off as possible after Friday night, right? The offense didn't perform the way it needed to. And it's not that we didn't hit the ball, right? I mean, we put the bat on the ball. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We had 9 hits, a lot of them right on the nose at people, but how many times did we work a walk, get a single, something like that, and immediately hit into a double play? When you talk about I mean, when you hit it right at them that many times, I think I jokingly, and it's only half a joke, I've got to be pretty close, sent a message after the Leger double play when he smoked it down the third baseline that, we've hit into 150 double plays so far this year. It seems like every time we get a guy on that we're hitting it right at him and getting 2 outs. And that's one thing that changed later in the weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even in the game that just went off, there were 2 innings in a row where we had runners on first or whatever. And both times guys didn't jump. And I just wrote down, I wrote down like GDP, right? I mean, through the 4 games at Hawaii, the game
Arkansas State,
and then these 3 games here, I feel like we've hit into an inning double play every other inning. And so I didn't really dig into it, see how many we've hit into. And I guess I probably will look at that before we record again later in the week. But man, it just seems like it seems like we hit into a bunch of double plays and then we boot a bunch of double plays.
Yeah.
And that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. I think I said, I can't remember if it was in our group chat or whatever when we were talking after Friday, but hell, I may have just been talking to my dad Saturday morning when we were out cleaning up limbs or something. But, it was another rough night for the Rebels. I'm like, look, dude, when you hit into a double play every time you get a runner on base, when you walk batters as a pitching staff and you commit errors, you're not going to win games. Like it sounds simple to clean them up. They are things that can be cleaned up. And when you look at Saturday and Sunday, you see what the results can be when you do clean them up, right? So let's go ahead.
That's what I was just fixing to say is that, but that's the beauty of baseball.
Yeah.
I hate the way that sounded. That's what's good about baseball is if you keep hitting the ball in the face, right? You just keep doing what you're doing. You keep hitting in the face. It is going to find holes and you're going to score some runs. And the next two games, we kept hitting in the face.
Classic example.
Some holes. It had to have been a really good feeling, for the offense last night. It was great.
And I'll go into who it felt especially good for, Hitch, come Saturday night. And that is our main man we have been preaching, Will Furnace, man. Get him in the lineup, keep him in the lineup. Don't bench him again for the rest of the year. This man is on a mission. Finally got in the game on Saturday, goes 2 for 3 with a home run, 2 RBIs, and walked twice on top of it. So it's not like he's going up there hacking, trying to find a ball over the wall. He's up there putting together quality at bats, and that's a trend that we started seeing the rest of the weekend after that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We started working count, seeing pitches, but I mean, I couldn't have been happier to see Will Furnace in the lineup. And I think that I'll look at the timestamps again, but at like 5:12, I sent a message that said Furnace hits a bomb tonight, and then 5:19. Furnace hit a bomb tonight, and
that's right.
It had to have felt great for him. Who we talked about. He had a kind of a bad fall and spring, and coming in here and hadn't played a lot, and comes out and hits a bomb Saturday, and then hits another one to a bomb today.
Bomb Sunday, absolute nuke.
And so it was good. I was happy to see him in the lineup, and I'll just say it. Look, I've never coached a college baseball game ever.
Yeah.
Please, Mike, keep him in the lineup, please.
Just leave him in there. Leave him in there. There's other guys that really come alive.
Yeah.
Saturday as well. Jackson Ross had one hell of a weekend, man, starting Saturday. He ends up going 2 for 3 with 2 home runs on Saturday, 4 RBIs, drew a walk as well. And then our man Luke Hill, this is kind of where he started coming alive too. 1 for 2 with a home run, 2 RBIs and 2 walks, didn't strike out. This is where you really saw everything coming together. Fisher was another one going 1 for 2 with 2 walks. I think I'd put out a tweet Saturday night after the game that you can really see this offense coming alive. Groff 0 for 3, but drew a walk and still scored a run. And then had the kind of game that he had today on Sunday. I just think it's really important I understand this is High Point and that this isn't what you're judged on, but it can't be understated the possible confidence levels that's boosted from a Saturday and Sunday like we just had, right?
Yeah, and two, what was really great to see was in the first inning. Right. I mean, you came out in the first inning after a Friday night of, like you said, people talking on Twitter and at the bar, wherever they're talking. And, these guys see it and they hear it. And I'm sure that Coach Bianco didn't have a lot of nice things to say in the team meeting Friday night after the game.
I'm sure.
And it's so great to see the response, right, to come out. And, not only did you win the game 12-2, but you jumped out 4-0 and put your foot on their throat and didn't let up, which is great to see out of a group of guys that are still coming together as a team. A lot of transfers, they're gelling. And what's even better is it carried on over into Sunday. And, man, you jumped on them right at the top of them on Sunday and put 11 runs in the first inning. I don't know how many runs we scored without getting an out, but – it was it was really good to see this offense come alive. And, transitioning to the mound, Gunnar Dennis looked really, really good.
That's exactly where I was about to go. I was just about to go to the pitching side there on Saturday. Gunnar Dennis, I thought was really, really good for us. 4 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, only 1 earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. A guy with Gunnar stuff, it's not overpowering. It's pitchable. Like that's it. He sits there and he just tries to fool the hitter over and over and over again. And the 8 strikeouts are an indication of that, that he was really on. So I thought it was really good to see that out of Gunnar. He gave us a little bit of depth, and it didn't really matter how deep he went because we had our main man Josh Mallett's backing him up here, man. 2 1/3 comes in, 1 hit, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Absolute dominance from Mallett's Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, just throwing frisbees, man. Gunnar Dennis, the big number, 2 walks.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, and I think it was later in the game before he got the first walk.
It was.
It was, 3rd or 4th inning. And I think that he just, some fatigue set in. He had thrown 95
Yeah, he was
pitches.
running out of gas.
But he was locating well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last 2 pitches he threw were really an indication of the fatigue setting in. He was kind of leaving himself open, and the ball was kind of tailing up and away on him on those fastballs. But, hey, great effort, man, and 2 walks. You walk less than 3 batters, right, and strike out this many, and your defense plays behind you, we're going to have an opportunity to win every game. So
regardless if it's high point or not, it was a really good show. Kind of like we said, it's funny. You don't walk batters, you don't commit errors, and you don't hit into 10 double plays a game when you get the leadoff runner on, and things are going to end up working out for you. Baseball is the hardest sport in the world and not the hardest to figure out at the same time. It's kind of weird in that way, but just kind of stay yourself. But Mallett's slider was incredible. We won't spend a lot of time on that. Everybody knows he's probably the best relief pitcher in the SEC, maybe the country as far as I'm concerned. Now, what I do think, I'll kind of dovetail this into Sunday a little bit. I think it's really important for this bullpen that Mallett's doesn't have to be stuck with the closer role, that he can be the I need you in the biggest spot of the game role, because when he entered on Saturday, it was a 4-2 game, if I'm not mistaken, with the runner on second base, if I'm remembering that correctly. And he comes in, strike out to get out of it, and then just goes on to roll through the next 2 innings as the offense does its thing to get to the 10-run rule. So I think it's really important that Mallett's is able to be in that role, kind of the Jack Doherty role, the Taylor Broadway is a guy that comes to mind, even though he was the closer. And look, if the biggest outs are in the 9th inning and you don't need him till then, bring him in the 9th inning and let him close it, right? But if it's not, if it's in the 5th inning, the 6th inning, bases loaded in a 2-run game or something like that, bring him in, let him close it out, or get you out of that jam. And you're only able to do that, and we're going to skip ahead just a little bit to make this point. You have a guy like Connor Spencer, who has been absolutely dynamite for us so far early on in the year. He pitched today on Sunday, pitched the last inning, 1 inning, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. He can run it up 96, 97 miles an hour, just a dynamic arm. Is that kind of where you see Mallett's, though, kind of tying all this together to where you just want him to be in the biggest spot of the game, regardless of where it's at?
Yeah, for sure. But what's great about it is it's not just Mallett's, right? Like, you've got another guy we didn't see all weekend who is going to fill that same role, I think, is Mason Nichols.
Yeah.
And I guess, if I guess college bullpens really don't set up like a major league bullpen does.
It's a little different.
But if you want to look at it that way, I mean, you've got 2 or 3 guys that you could throw in the 7th or 8th inning when you've got a runner on second base, the tying run on second, the team's best hitter at the plate, and your starter is, out of gas, right? Who are you going to go get? It's really great to have 3 guys that you can just go grab whichever one and bring them in. But it's a good thing to have. But yeah, man, watching Mallett's up there pitch was just that. I don't have anything to say about it other than I just enjoyed it. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, he's absolutely incredible. So that ended up finishing off a 12-2 game for the Rebels there. Made some lineup changes that really seemed to work. Like I said, with all the walks, ended up walking 12 times overall in 7 innings there. And some of that is high
we
point.
Really got more patient. I mean,
really, yeah, that's it. And this was really high points, Ace. Gus Hughes, he's the projected Big South pitcher of the year in that conference. And we really worked him 4 1/3, drew 5 walks, scored 6 runs. Thought we had a heck of a game plan against him. That really worked out. Win 12-2, and then you come back Sunday and all you're thinking is, okay, you did it once. It's against High Point. Now you've got to do it again, right? You've got to build on that offensive success. This is a good chance for Grayson Saunier, a guy that's going to take over this Sunday role apparently, to really build some confidence here. And everything worked out for us. Grayson looked great, lineup, just a couple changes for the most part. He had the same guys in there. I think the only difference was Burford in there at second. That's the only thing coming to mind that was different from Saturday to Sunday. Well, and Hughes in there too. Now, look, I guess I do want to address Trayson Hughes here since I brought him up. This is maybe the most talented, projectable bat in the lineup that hasn't gotten going yet. I have all the confidence in the world Trayson's going to get this thing going. You don't hit 384 during an entire season, don't care what level you're at, if you don't have a lot of talent, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And the people who are making these rankings of what these transfer guys coming in, I mean, they see a lot of guys, they see them play a lot against different competition. So he's going to get it going. He's fine.
Yeah. And I think another good example of that, again, shifting to Sunday, Andrew Fisher had a really good game for us Sunday. Goes 3 for 3 with a walk, home run, 4 runs, 4 RBIs. He really got it going. You could kind of see it starting a little bit in that Saturday game to where he looked a little more locked in, right?
He hit a ball right on the nose. Saturday. And I remember thinking when he hit it, it looked to me, and I haven't seen every single one of his at-bats this year, but it looked to me like the first at-bat where he got his arms extended and really got the meat of the bat, on the ball. And I don't know what the exit velo was. We don't really see those unless they're home runs, but he hit it in the face, man, and down in the corner and that triple and got us going Saturday. And so it was only a matter of time before he got going, right? Well, see ACC Freshman of the Year last year. So it was good to see.
He was a freshman All-American.
But it was also good to see him get going like in a for lack of a better term, a violent way, right? Like he
and
hit that ball and he took off, right?
Yeah, and you kind of saw that again Wednesday night too. That Arkansas State game didn't go our way, but that was a game that was full of double plays when we got guys on base. And Fisher came up. I Bleav he ended up pinch hitting that game. I don't think he ended up starting, if I'm remembering that right. I think Udermark started over there at third. But he come in and, absolutely smoked the ball right on the nose. And it was – right at the second baseman, never had to take a step. It had to be over 100 miles an hour, hit right into a double play. Those are the kind of things, though, where it helps to watch the games, though, right? And not just be a box score type fan to where you're just looking what they did, because those kind of things can tell you how a guy is seeing the ball and if a breakout is coming. I saw that coming for Fisher, and he broke out in a big way today, but just like a lot of guys did. Again, Will Furness, another guy, goes 1 for 2 with a bomb and 5 RBIs, hit a grand slam, 2 walks. He's really making his presence known in this lineup since he's gotten a chance. Udermark comes in, has a good game, plays left field for us, substitution in for Leger, who seemed to come up gimpy. I'm guessing on the swing is kind of what
it looked awkward.
Yeah, that's the best I can come up with. I never heard anything specific. Looks like maybe a twist of an ankle or something like that on the swing. We were up, at that point, 15-1 or whatever. So get him out of there. Udemark comes in. But look, this is a big-time bat that has a ton of potential in this lineup. He goes 1 for 2 with a walk and 2 RBIs. Jackson Ross hits another bomb for us. Burford hits a bomb.
Was a bomb.
Yeah. And
I think
Jackson Ross was a bomb.
I think it was like 455, but it left the field of play. Like it went to the left of the scoreboard.
Yes. So it was he hit it where only Kemp Alderman has ever seen. Yeah. I mean, he put a charge into that one. So Jackson Ross is off to a torrid start as well. So good to see him having so much success. And then Ethan Groff leads the game off with the home run, a guy we hadn't even mentioned talking about this 3-game set. And that's a guy that's hit the ball on the nose a ton all weekend, goes 3 for 4 on Sunday with the home run, 2 RBIs, 4 runs scored and a walk. Gets his average up to 300.
Yeah, I don't think he played 3 or 4 innings.
Yeah, and he gets his average up to 300. It's what I kept trying to explain to people that nobody wanted to hear. This was not going to be the worst offense in 1A Mississippi high school baseball all year, right? Like eventually they were going to hit, and they were going to have a game like this to where the numbers start coming back up. I mean, look at a guy like Leger, a guy that should never take a day off if you don't need him to. He's hitting 435, Groff up to 300. And then after games like today, you've got, Fisher, he was batting around 100. He's up to 238. Jackson Ross up to 417. Furness 222 after not getting really any playing time up until these last couple days. I think this is a really good start. Now, I think it's important to note, again, this is High Point, but it's a good starting point to where we can start stacking games. That's what's important right now, leading into a huge series next weekend in Oxford.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was just fixing to say, or what I was thinking is, we've had 2 big offensive games, but it is against High Point, who, taking nothing away from them, they came out and beat us on Friday night. They're a very good team. But you've got Iowa coming to town, and then you're going to get into SEC play, and it's just going to be a different level of competition. And as much as we're praising and saying how great this is today on Sunday, February the 25th, I also don't want to get in the position of having to back those words down when we don't perform as well, maybe in an SEC game or something. So I'm very high on this team. I think these past 2 days have shown what we've kind of talked about leading up to the season is it's some rust. It's the team gelling. Let's just give them a couple of games and let them get together and start hitting. They will. And leading into the tougher part of the schedule here, then we'll kind of really see where we stand when it comes to the top tier teams in the country. Yeah. And the Rebels coming up, we got 2 midweek games this week. We play Arkansas Little Rock in Oxford on Tuesday, February 27th at 4:00 p.m. Welcome the Missouri State Bears into Oxford February 28th on Wednesday, also at 4:00. And then we start this big series with Iowa. We won't get into that right now. We will have another show later on in the week where we dive into Iowa a little bit deeper. But one thing y'all need to know, Iowa's going to pitch it, especially from the starting rotation standpoint. Their bullpen lacks a little bit to be desired, but make no mistake, all 3 guys that they're sending out there on the weekend, if I have this right, I'll look it up for our show next week. I think those 3 weekend starters are 3 of the top 4 prospects overall in the major league draft out of the Big Ten. I mean, they can really throw it on those 3 days. That's so Iowa. Right. I mean, are they good offensively? What if they're a little bit, yeah. Right, and that's so Iowa, right? It would be really on brand. I'm good at stopping you from scoring, but I'm really bad at scoring myself. Yeah, that's right. So, all right, Hitch, is there anything else from this weekend we haven't covered that you noticed that you would like to talk about? No, I mean, I think real quick. Go ahead. Saunier, I thought he was good today, right? Yeah. Yes,
4 innings, 1 earned, 5 Ks, only 2 walks through 4 innings. I thought he was pretty good.
And I thought he did a great job of after, coming out at sitting that long first inning. He came out and he filled it up. He walked the first guy, and which kind of worries you a little bit. But then he came out and made some really good pitches in the next couple of batters. Same thing in the second, third, and the fourth inning, right after long sitting. He did exactly what he needed to do, which was come in and just fill up the strike zone. Don't walk anybody and just get guys out. And so I thought that was really good, to see him come out and do that in his first or his second start there. But who else pitched besides Sung? Oh, pitch. I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Your boy Liam.
Man, he looked good. My only I don't know question or not question, but it looks like he likes to pitch up in the zone. And as long as he keeps it at the letters like it was today, it's going to be great. I just once we get into that tougher schedule, up in the zone can get you up in trouble.
If that thing ever dips around the belly button, something like that, then it could be trouble.
Yep, and then we had an Austin Simmons appearance. There towards the end of the game, and so
I thought he was fine.
Yeah, right? Fine. Yeah. And then we already talked about Connor Spencer.
I think he's going to be a dude, man. I really do. So, but overall, looking at the Sunday game, kind of what we were talking about for the weekend, it's only a 7-inning game, obviously, because the run rule took effect. But we walked 3 guys and struck out 11. So, I mean, give me that all day long. It was a very successful first Saunier Sunday. So, I'm very much looking forward to more of those as the years go on, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, look, we'll get out of here on that. So, hope y'all enjoyed this little reaction that me and Hitch had. If y'all did enjoy it, leave us a comment below, like the video, all that good stuff. I know I don't have video again. This will be the last show. Hopefully, my camera's supposed to be in tomorrow, so that'll fix all of these issues. I've bought another one, so we will get that set up, and y'all can see my beautiful face one more time and be like, damn, like he hasn't shaved in 3 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but the 4th week is when I'm actually going to do it. So, But we will have that back up and going by the time we record again, hopefully. But appreciate y'all tuning in, and look forward to doing this again next week when the Rebels welcome in a nationally ranked Iowa Hawkeye team. I believe me and Hitch are going to attend at least one game together. Is the thought there?
Plan. That is the plan.
I'll see if I can even talk him into 2. We'll see. But either way, we plan on doing this again next weekend after the series is over and do a reaction. So appreciate y'all tuning in, and go out and support these Rebels. They're a hell of a lot of fun. Looks like the bats going to get going, and just got to stack games at this point. So howdy toddy, everybody, and we'll see y'all next week.
All right. Thanks, Jed. See you.
See you, bud.